So now we're going to talk about business scaling success. So whatever marketing or sales strategy that you're doing, however you're growing your business through sales and marketing, you can plug that into what I've been talking about and into the framework that I'm about to share with you. So we've talked about our business systems, our business as a collaboration of systems, and we've talked about our mission, vision, and values and how those work together and how our business moves through time. That actually creates a foundation. Now, I haven't talked about the building blocks yet. There's specific building blocks to that foundation, which I'm going to talk about next. But this creates the foundation for you to rapidly scale. And we're not just talking, yes, this is growth, but there's a distinction between growing and scaling. Scaling, the difference is there's a methodology for scaling. There's a specific set way that you follow, that you think about your business that's different than when you're just like, oh, I want to grow my business. Okay, yeah, I want to grow my business and experience 3% growth next year. Okay, great. Hey, I want to scale my business and I want to experience 10, 20, 50, 100% growth. When you're going to have and you want rapid growth, you need to be thinking in terms of scaling because things are happening at a very fast and rapid rate. The better your foundation and ability to adapt to change over time will impact how rapidly and effectively you can scale. So now I'm going to give you the 8 building blocks for scaling. Number 1, people and their roles and responsibilities. Number 2, the department structure, how you actually structure these people into their different departments. Number 3, your communication model and structure. What are the expectations? How are people communicating? How are the different departments communicating? How are you communicating with external vendors? What are the expectations? I'm actually going to, after I go over the 8 building blocks for scaling, I'm then going to give you an analysis where I walk you through so you can actually see where you actually measure up. How scalable is your company? So that's what's coming next. Our 4th building block, project management and your internal team execution structure, how well you're getting things done. Number 4, your technology systems. Number 6, your documentation, policy, procedure, and processes. Number 7, your growth methodology. And our metrics and reporting. All of these are your foundation for scaling. So how does your business rate in its ability to scale? That's what we're going to do right now. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions for each of these 8 different building blocks, and this is an opportunity for you to actually rate yourself and then see how actually well you rate in terms of your business's ability to scale. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I go through each of these building blocks, and overall, what is your gut feel on where you rank on a scale of 1 to 5? 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest, like, yep, I got it all, I'm dialed in. 1 being like, yeah, we need a lot of work here. Now, if you actually don't know or you're unsure with up to a 20% or more margin of error, I want you to rate yourself as unknown. Because if you really don't know, if you're not sure actually where you fall with that, I don't want you to guess because that's a red flag. Because if you're a CEO and you're unsure how you rank with each of these different things, that's huge. So I want you to mark that as unknown. So let's start with people, roles, and responsibilities. Do you have the right people on the bus? Or in other words, that's Jim Collins, good to great. Or in other terms, do you have the right people on your team? 2, do you have clearly defined and held roles and responsibilities? Do you have an organizational chart? Do you have a roles and responsibilities map? Is there a grabbing or avoidance of responsibility? Is each person clear about what they're supposed to do and the results that they're expected to generate? So on a scale of 1 to 5, how do you rate yourself on this particular building block? Next, our department structure. Do you have clearly defined departments? Is there departmental overlap or gaps? How well are your departments structured and operating? Do each of your departments have an operating guide, an operations manual? Are they actually following it? How well do your different departments work together? 1 to 5. Next, our communication model. Do you have a communication model and meeting structure? Have you defined communication expectations and outcomes? Do you have regular meetings with your team and clear outcomes and next actions? How effective do you feel that your meetings are? How well do you feel your team communicates with each other? How often are misunderstandings or miscommunications occurring? Scale of 1 to 5. Next, our project management and internal team execution structure. Now, as I'm asking you these questions, I want you to think about it for both internal projects and how well you're fulfilling with your customers. How effective is your team at execution? Does your team execute with grace and precision or confusion and uncertainty? How about your external contractors and partners? Is your team effective at hitting deadlines and not missing the critical details? Do you have things that fall through the cracks? How many things? How big are those things? Rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Next, we're going to look at our technology systems. How well set up are your technology systems? Are you fully utilizing the capabilities your systems have? Do you have someone that ensures they're up to date? Does each of your tech systems fulfill the needs of the department they serve? Do the systems that need to communicate together communicate effectively? Go ahead and rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 5. Next, we have our documentation, policy, procedure, and processes. How well is your business documented? Do you have a company manual, a team manual, and department guides? And are they actively used? Is your team clear on your company's expectations of policy and procedure? Do you have all of your policies documented? Do you have all your business processes documented? On a scale of 1 to 5, how do you rate? Next, we look at our growth methodology. Do you have a defined and clear growth methodology? Do your department heads or managers understand how the growth of the company and their departments interrelate and integrate? Do you have annual and quarterly strategic meetings? On a scale of 1 to 5. And lastly, our metrics and reporting. How well integrated is metrics and reporting into your business? Do you have metrics tied to your mission statement? We'll talk more about that later and how that's absolutely critical, one of the most powerful things that you can do. Are you looking at your metric KPIs to guide your growth methodology? Is it easy for you to drill down into the metrics? Do you have regular meetings and conversations around your metrics? Are you taking action based on metric data you digest? Are you feeding your gut with healthy metrics and data? Does each person on your team, are they clear as to what they're responsible for and what metrics and KPIs they must meet. And is there accountability for that? On a scale 1 to 5, how do you rate? Now, you could be anywhere from a 0, I guess, if you had all unknowns, to 40. So first off, if you had a score of 32 or higher, congratulations. You are scalable. You've done a lot of great things in your organization. Now, I imagine, because even in the most successful companies, and in fact, in even the most successful companies on the surface level, most companies don't have a lot of these things in place. Now, if you already have a successful company, can you imagine how much more successful you would be if you had these things in place, even if you had a fraction of these things in place? So this is what I do as a scaling coach and in the clients that I work with. So now I'm going to talk about how I work with different clients and really what I use to measure results when I'm working with people. First, I want to give you an idea of the types of clients that I work with. I currently have availability for 3 new clients. I'm very selective in who I work with. The reason that I am is because I'm looking to work with people because you're going to get at least a 10x return in working with me. And so I want to make sure that you are the right person because you're going to get results. And I only want to work with people that are committed to getting results. So here are some of those qualifications. 1, you're coachable. 2, you're committed to growing and scaling your business. 3, committed to excellence. You want to go to the next level. And you're willing to slow down to speed up. I want to talk to you about this because this is a pretty important one. And a lot of the companies that I work with, they're growing so fast, they have a lot of success going on, but they don't have a lot of the systems and structure in place that are going to really enable to help them sustain that growth, right? Because you could be on a growth projection and that's awesome, but unless you're putting this stuff in place, it's going to fall off. You're not going to be able to maintain that. You're not going to be able to sustain it. So a lot of times, and in most cases, I need the owner, the CEO, to understand this concept of slowing down to speed up. So if you're the work that we're doing, if you've studied Stephen Covey's model of the 4 quadrants, important and urgent, not urgent, unimportant, right? This stuff falls into the important but not urgent category, but it's absolutely essential for you growing your business. Creating a scalable business dramatically with this methodology dramatically reduces the fires that you have to put out, and there's a shift from reactive to proactive, as well as a position to grow from. So you need to put systems in place. The bottom line is systems enable you to scale and taking on the mindset of slowing down to speed up.